This 300mm is something for itself. It's super light, it's super sharp, and it's super easy to handle. For me that already owns a 400mm, it's like should I invest in a 300mm when I have 400, I have the 70-200, I also have this 200 to 600mm, but I already had the lens for 2 weeks and I have been doing some wildlife photography and some cat photography. So compared to the 200 to the 600, the 300mm is actually smaller and it's also lighter, a lot lighter. Also, I will not get in depth with the lens because I don't know anything about the lens. I just know it's super sharp and super light and it has the same focus motor as the 400mm, so the autofocus will probably be super fast. But I will just show you. What this lens can do and test it out in different environments.
So for basketball, the 300mm is way too much zoom. You are way better off with like a 70-200 or like a 135 1.8 or an 85 1.4 or something. And if you aren't in a big arena, it's kind of difficult to go further back because you're gonna hit the wall and then you will be way too close to the players. Next up, we're gonna do some cat photography. I will pair the 300mm with the A1 and I will also film the whole thing with the ZV-E1 handheld. So let's see how it works with the animals and let's see how the autofocus works on the ZV-E1 with the 300mm. It's the same focus motor as it's in the 400mm and the 135mm. So let's head out. It is actually crazy how sharp the 300mm is, and if you have it on the A1 with 50 megapixels as well, you can just zoom in so much and see all the fine details in their fur and on their whiskers, the eyeballs, and it's just insane how good quality the lens is. It tracks super perfect and it's just a dream working with. Everything is packed for an early start tomorrow. We are waking up early to head to Bjørneparken in Flå. We are putting the 300mm up to its last test and it's filming wild animals. But first of all, we are gonna get a good night's sleep because it's a long drive, or 2 hours. It isn't that bad, but it's early and I don't like waking up early.
favorite park. I've been here since May, and today I'm testing out the new 300mm, which isn't that new, but it's the first time I have my hands on it for a longer time. And I'm gonna do the difficult choice of leaving my 200-600 and my 70-200 here in the car and just bring along the 300 and the 400 and my two teleconverters, the TC 1.4 and the TC2. And I also have my ND filter for the 400 and the 300mm so we can film. So all geared up, everything around my neck, nothing in the backpack. Right now I'm filming with the 300mm and we are filming these foxes. The lens is like 5 meters over there and the fox is right here. And the 300mm is like filling the whole frame, the fox, which is stretching. The 300mm is a really good lens. It's not good for video or not my workflow for video. It's really good if you're staying on the same place and you know where the subject is or where the subject is gonna appear. These foxes move a lot around and it's really hard tracking them with like a prime lens. That's why I prefer my 200-600. The 200-600 is not a pro lens. f5.6 and 6.3 is not good enough, especially when the lighting conditions are like this. It's like a foggy day in the woods and you need an f2.8. So I will really hope that Sony will release like a 200-400 f2.8 or even an f4. The 300mm is like awesome for stills. It's like an all-round sport wildlife portrait lens. You can do landscape photos with it. It's super sharp, it's super lightweight. It's probably an upgrade from the 400mm with like the specs. You have probably a better focus motor, you have better glass, it's sharper. Paired with the A1, it's crazy good. You have these super clean and super sharp images. For filming, it's not good enough for me because it's an awkward focal length, and since you don't have zoom, you're better off with like 400mm or 600mm, but if you're on a budget, the 300mm is, I guess it's good, but it's still super expensive. Compared to the 400mm, it's almost the same. It's almost the same focal range. You don't get that much of a difference. Probably the 300mm is a lot lighter, so it's easier to carry, and you can bring a TC, like a teleconverter, and then you get a 600mm or you get probably a 400 or something. For my workflow, it doesn't work out. I prefer my 200-600. I will prefer a better zoom lens from Sony, like a pro zoom lens. I'll do some more photos with the 300mm, and then I will film with the 200-600 because these guys are so close, and probably handheld film with the ZV-E1. We will see. Just stick around.